Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, here with the gang today. Chad, Travis, no Kyle.
Got a few more people with us.
We got a crowded room right now, don't we?
Crowded room.
Yeah, we got Geneva here today with us. Geneva, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. We got Connor. We got David.
Great to be here, boys.
Great to be here. I'm glad you guys are here. I know we got Cole hanging out in the back with the janitor's bucket. He's stuck in the corner there, so hey, thanks for holding up the mop there. Appreciate that. And then Kyle's here. He has to run the board, but he's actually stuck outside the room. The cord just goes to Kyle. We just say, hey, Kyle, hit the button. So he's here somewhere, but he can't hear us. So, so I know last week we talked a little bit, about moving forward without a plan. And that's kind of what we're doing right now, moving forward without a plan, right, guys? No plan on how we're going to get there, but we'll figure this out.
We'll wing it.
We all got in this podcast. We're like, we're going to figure out how to fit in that closet, and then we'll go from there. I'm pretty sure this is where COVID started. This closet full of people.
It's definitely warm in here.
It's definitely warm in here. I will not deny that. I should have taken my shirt off when I came in. But, so any big plans from the last weekend? Did you guys do anything fun, exciting?
About had a heart attack watching that Vikings game.
Right? My God. I loved the Vikings for a second, then I hated them. Then I loved them again. Then I hated them. Then I was going to quit watching football, and then we won. So now I'm a fan again.
Back to the Super Bowl.
Back to the Super Bowl. Yeah, we literally went from we're going to the bowl to the toilet bowl, back to the Super Bowl. Like, I didn't know what we were doing. It was ridiculous. But
Fun to watch.
fun game to watch. Fun game to be a Minnesotan. We have Hunter here, our new sales guy from Georgia, and he said it was like watching a Falcons game, except for we won at the end. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, he's here. He's experiencing his first blast of winter. He's never seen snow, been a part of it, really, he said, and never driven in it. And then first week he's here, it snowed twice. So it's going well for him so far.
I enjoyed watching him scrape off his car last night.
Yeah, but he's a trooper, man. We tried to help him, and he's like, no, I got to figure this out. So yeah, he's awesome. But
Kind of fun to see him looking out the window.
right, he gets all
First time seeing it.
yeah, he gets mesmerized by the snowfall. We're all like, it's snowing again. It's a Tuesday. He's like, look at it, snow. It's magical.
Runs outside to do some
Yeah,
snow.
exactly.
things.
Yeah, he's out there making.
Angels.
Yeah, he's out there making. Guys, I'm gonna take my lunch break. I'm just gonna make a snowman real fast. But no, it's cool. He's good. He's good to have on the team. But yeah, so like I said, Geneva, you guys made the long trek down here today,
Long, 2 hours, not too long,
but in the snow.
in the snow.
Did you take David's truck?
Yeah, we took the 4-wheel drive rather than the 2-wheel
Yeah.
company car. So
There we go. Didn't get stuck.
didn't get stuck. Roads were actually not too bad. What do you think? 1-2 inches of snow?
Yeah, it was only a light dusting,
It's
just enough to
just-
screw things up.
Yeah, it's just wet roads. So
Yeah.
no.
I like how you guys left Cole alone, though. Like, you guys were like, hey, we're going to drive down in the 4-wheel drive. Cole, fend for yourself. You got this.
Ride your bike to shop.
Yeah,
Sabre,
like,
please.
good luck, Cole. Like, I'm glad he made it. He showed up looking like the guys from Dumb and Dumber. He's just frozen. But he made it. He made it. But yeah, so I know we talked, like I said, about moving forward without a plan. And today I thought we'd talk about financing, obviously, since Geneva was bringing me lunch today. That was nice of you guys. But,
Super nice.
Yeah, really good ribs. Thank you. But we thought, let's talk about what the real world looks like in financing today. Like I said, I want to introduce Connor and David. Both those guys are professionals. I mean, they know financing better than anybody else sitting at this table right now. And the reality is they'll be able to talk a little bit about some of the things that people, I think, look past and they don't think about when it comes to financing and, buying equipment. A lot of times people just assume the bank's out to get them, and it's not that way. Like, yeah, there's probably some lenders out there that are, but, if you can trust a trusted lender like Geneva, like, you're in actually really good hands. They're going to help you maximize your buying power. And, so that's what I was saying is it seems that people have unrealistic expectations though in the world today. Like the world's changing and you're used to being able to go pick a product off the shelf, right? It's ready to go and you buy it. And, nowadays you can't do that. Like products don't exist that way. A lot of these, higher quality products, you have to order them and wait for them, right? You're ordering things online a lot of times nowadays. Even the store buying experience is kind of disappearing, is it not? You're not, I don't know, I can't tell you the last time I went to Best Buy, right? Haven't been to Best Buy and bought something there. Like I buy everything online. I just go shop online and it delivers to my house.
Exactly.
So it's kind of the same thing with CNC. The days of going to the dealer and trying things out and then, buying something are gone. You buy everything online. So you got to build this rapport with people. And, part of that is financing, and when you look at lead times, supply chain issues, those things are real. Like you need to think about that. And, a lot of times, it's changed the way most companies have to do business in general because of those lead times and because of supply chain issues. And custom and quality costs more than a cookie cutter and cheap setup, right?
Correct.
So when you look in today's world, you know, you don't have the same luxury that you had even 3 years ago. You know, it's a lot different looking out there right now. And, you know, most importantly, a dollar costs more today than it cost 2 years ago. Does it not, guys?
Absolutely the case.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at purchasing, you know, you're looking at financing doesn't exist at the 2% rates you saw previously. I mean, they just don't exist. Like the reality is a real 2% rate isn't out there anymore. Am I correct to say that on that one, Connor and David?
1,000%.
Yeah. I mean, with good credit, those are even unrealistic. Like you're not getting that.
Those days are long gone.
Yeah. You know, unless someone is buying that rate down for you, you know, and subsidizing the rate, that's the only way you're getting down to 2%. Am I fair to say that on that one?
100% accurate. And when you say subsidize, I mean, really it's the seller and the lender almost colluding behind the scenes. And so in exchange for that lower rate below what the market would charge, you know, call it 0.9% or 2.9% on a vehicle, for example, you know, instead of paying $55,000, you're paying $60,000. So you either get the fat discount or you get the low rate, but you never get both. So it just kind of goes to show that you're paying that money somewhere, and whether it be through that lower rate and the higher purchase price or the alternative, you know, there's no such thing as free money, and no lender is, you know, writing loans for 1-2% true return over a 5-year period.
Yeah. You just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it there. But no, I mean, but that's the truth. People need to hear that because they think these 2% rates exist, and all they're doing is they're not giving you the discount they could give you up front, or they've marked their product up and made it look like they're going to give you a discount so they can buy the rate down, right? I mean, that's what they're doing. And so, you know, to think about what you're actually paying for the machine or the product, the car, or whatever you're buying versus what you're financing, you know, right? Are you financing? You'll hear people ask that question. Well, no, I'm not financing. Okay, if you're not financing, I can give you this $5,000 discount. Oh, you know what? Maybe I will look at financing. Okay, well, then the price goes up. I mean, I can't give you that That's why they're sticking that $5,000 towards your financing, and they're buying your interest down. They're just prepaying the interest is what they're doing. So that's how they're getting away with it. They're, like you said, colluding to make you think you're getting something you're not. And, you know, instead of getting a product discount, you're getting an interest discount. I mean, that's what you're getting. So most companies can do this, you know, if they want to, but, you know, like us, we choose to just give you that cash discount up front and let you figure out what you want to do with financing. Like you can either pay the financing rate the way they are based on your qualifications, or you just pay cash. Like you don't have to finance it. We don't force you to finance with us. You know, we don't care. I mean, Geneva, we care a little bit, don't we? We want them to finance with us, right?
Well, obviously, and you know, the one unique perspective that we have is we're writing hundreds of these machines each year, and the variability in the customers would shock you. I mean, everything from perfect credit, 30 years in business, to terrible credit, 1 month in business. We've kind of seen it all. And so there's this expectation sometimes that money's free, and that's not the case, certainly. If anything, the businesses that have been around for a long time, 20 years, they get it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when we used to say 6%, which is a market rate, you know, we would get good feedback from those businesses, and the conversation's just a little bit different at 7-8%. We don't like it any more than you guys do, but the fact of the matter, rates are up a little bit. But in terms of, you know, monthly payment, cost per hour of running these machines, the difference is truly negligible.
You like that? You like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do like that. That's exactly what I felt that was fitting after this weekend's game. You know,
that was a good point.
Thank you. But no, that's the truth though. Is like you said, the actual cost of running these machines, financing them versus buying, like it's minimal cost. It's a minimal cost difference right now because I mean, no money's free. Let's just be honest with each other right now. No money is free. There's no such thing as free money out there. I'm sorry if you believe that. Like you're gonna find out the hard way someday. But you know, abnormal interest rates are bought. You need to be aware of that. If you're seeing somebody tell you we can get you 2.5%, 3%, ask them where it's coming from. I'd ask them. Tell them you want to see it. Where are they getting that rate? Because nobody's giving that rate right now. Like they're buying it out. You know, it's bought, not given. I'll tell you that much right now. You know, someone paid for those low rates. Someone did, and I'm going to be honest with you. Rarely is it the company, right? I mean, it's you. That someone's you. I'm going to tell you one thing they always say: if you can look around the room and you can't figure out who that someone is, it's usually you, right? I mean, that's the person. So, you know, you got to think about that. You know, 99% of the time, it is the consumer. They have hidden fees somewhere. You know, something is getting them. But, for you guys, let me open it up to you guys, Chad and Travis. You guys haven't been able to say much today. But, what comes to mind when you think about people's expectation in today's world? When you talk about financing in general, in banking world, like what comes to mind, Chad?
I think the expectation today versus last year is the people think that the banks are hiking up the rates when they're truly not.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people think there's a lot of markup in it, and they're getting rich off me, right?
Exactly.
Like, people just assume the bank's out to get me. They're just making more than they should. Like, I got 2% last year. You ain't getting me at 5 this year. Like, take the 5, take it and run. Like, I promise you, take the 5.
Yeah, they just don't realize things have changed.
Like, I'll tell you what, if a bank offered me 5, I'm saying no backsies. Like, no backsies, it's mine. Sign it. Where? How? I'll send my kid. What about you, Travis?
So I don't know enough about the financing world to be, real accurate on what customers are usually telling me, but they usually try to compare.
You know that?
That one I know.
Okay, good.
They usually try to compare personal lending with commercial lending. And honestly, again, I don't know how to really hop on that train and talk about it more, but the guys that are talking to their personal bank about a personal loan are saying they're getting about half the APR interest than what you're going to get with a commercial loan. So that's what I hear. And then when they start talking about commercial loans, they're deterred until they realize that, this is a commercial purchase. You should probably buy it with a commercial loan.
Well, I think I'll let Geneva jump in here a little bit on it. I'm going to touch on this real fast and we'll let them explain that. But, the one thing about commercial loans that I always tell people is there's a big difference between personal collateral and non-personal collateral, right? If you're going to go buy a house, car, boat, whatever it is, I don't want the CNC machine hanging over my head. Like, well, I can't go buy something I wanted because I bought something for my business. Commercial loans, they don't do that to you. And a lot of times the banks, correct, you guys jump in. If Brandon, you're an idiot, you can stop me. Trust me if I'm saying something wrong here. But I think I'm correct when I say that the banks, when they're doing these personal loans, they're not looking out for the consumer a lot of times. They're looking out for themselves, and they look at it as, default on that machine. I don't care. I'm getting your boat, your house, your car, your kid. I'm getting everything. Like, I don't care. They're just going to clean you out. And the problem is it really hurts you down the road because you have less collateral if you do need it down the road. If the world does change and you need it for something and you need more buying power, you've now used it up. And the reality is for something that is realistically and many times going to pay itself off, it's a bad way to get yourself into things because these machines really pay for themselves in a lot of cases. And so to tie up your boat, your car, your kids, whatever, it's just not something you want to put yourself into. And to me, I think most people are out of touch with the real world. We all want to hang in the past, right? Everybody wants to. And we want to get upset at things that, have changed, right? We all are upset that we're paying more money, But moving forward, we have to. Like, we have to continue to run our businesses, right? If we can continue to grow, we continue to be successful. But if we delay our growth as companies, waiting for that rate to come back down, we're literally handicapping our businesses. We're hurting ourselves because our competitors aren't waiting. Our competitors are going to keep moving. Anybody that's sensible in business is moving forward still. They understand that I need it. Like, my business needs it to grow. The work's still there. It just takes a little bit more to do it. And so when I look at it, like, if you're delaying things, expecting change, you're really just hurting yourself. Unfortunately, you're changing in the wrong direction, right? You're going the wrong way. And so, as things change, it costs you more money. I think that's a fair statement that, I'm waiting on interest to come down is something I hear once in a while. And it's like, well, the price is going to go up. So you save, you save $1,000 on interest, but the machine cost you $2,500 more because everything went up.
Well, you hit the nail on the head with this, this perception that the lender, whether it be Geneva, any bank, that the lender's greedy. And in reality, money has a cost to it. Think of a sheet of MDF, and the price was X and now it's Y. And if our money cost us, 3%, let's say 6 months ago, and we were charging 5%, today that same money is costing us 6% and we're loaning it at 7 or 8%. So our actual profit that we're making on these loans over a 4 or 5 year period is considerably less. And it's just a fact of the matter that, there's this lag between increase in the cost of money and the market being willing to accept it. So you guys would be amazed that we're writing deals as thin as we ever have relative to our cost. But again, nobody likes paying higher rates. We don't like it any more than you guys do. But I think if you have some context, look back historically, zoom out 30,000 feet, 2006 prime rates were 8%. Early 2000s, 9%, 80s, 12%. So we had this beautiful 10-year run where these prime rates were at 70-year historic lows, and they hung there for, 8, 10, 12 years in a row, but that time has passed and the world is changing, and we're all just doing our best to make sure that we're offering, extremely competitive rates to the end user.
Yeah, I totally agree on that one.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
If you had to guess what year the highest and what rate the highest prime rate was for commercial lending and just lending in general, what year do you think it was, and what rate do you think it was? I got to hide my paper from Travis.
I see your lips moving, but I can't make out the words.
Travis, we're really
I'm
counting on
deaf.
you.
Yeah, Travis.
Did
Jeff.
you get the answer off
Yeah,
the sheet?
did you cheat? Like, we were hoping you saw the answer there.
As he was saying it, I already saw his hand covered it. So no, I do
Yeah,
not. Oh,
I
now
think
see I'm cheating. Now, but
I think it's okay. So you asked me for what year it was and what the highest rate was, right?
What year and what rate?
78 is the year, and the rate was 21%.
Shockingly close. It
Was
was
that right?
1980, and it was 21.5%.
Oh, I knew I was close, but
Which we've seen, and we've financed businesses going back to your point, Brandon,
Yep.
that were in business before 1980.
yeah,
So they didn't wait around, and
Yeah.
they're still around,
Correct.
borrowing at 20% plus interest.
Yeah.
Which like I said, goes to Brandon's point on if you have opportunity and you have what relatively is a nominal cost difference from last year in front of you right now, and those who wait will be gobbled up by these guys who do not wait. So that's just kind of the reality right now.
Other weaknesses, we're slow learners and we're not particularly good listeners.
So what you're saying is I should wait longer.
Yes. No.
Yeah, that's a bad idea, right? Yeah, I mean, the point is we're still sitting in a very competitive market right now. Like, people don't realize how it was. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to get to that point. Hopefully it doesn't ever get to that point again. And I think we're all saying that. We don't see it going that crazy. But the point is, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, do you know what our parents would have done for a 7% rate?
They would have ran up Mount Everest.
They would have bought everything they could.
Correct.
Everything they could.
They would have sold their first child, Connor.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be around. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, the old
They
JB.
might have done that for 20%.
Yeah, I'm telling you, JB would have. The old JB, I'm gone. He's fired me more times than I can count at this point. So I'm pretty sure he would have given me away for 7 or 8%. Heck, I think 14% he probably gave me away. I don't think I'm worth much more than that to him. But the reality is like you said, it's great. You saved on interest, right, by waiting. Sometimes if something does drop, but you lost the discounts. You lost something. The cost of living changes. So your money today is the cheapest it's ever going to be, really, right? I mean, when you think about that, no matter what, even if interest goes down a little bit, the cost of living rarely just plummets back down, right? I mean, everything's kind of creeping forward. So even if you saved on a little interest, your cost of living, your money was worth less in the future. So you're better to invest in yourself today, get your product, get your, equipment, and, stop stepping over dollars to save pennies. Like, that's really what you're doing. And, most companies are competitively priced in the market. Like, a lot of these finance companies, they know where they need to be. They're not playing the game. They know that you can go on the internet nowadays. Like, it's not 20 years ago where, well, he might not know the other banks are around. Like, we know you can go on Google. Like, we all can go on Google and look for the prime rate, right? You can go look yourself. Like, nobody's hiding it from you. If the rate the bank offered you is less than prime rate, you're probably getting taken advantage of somewhere. Like, simple as that. And, a few companies in today's world are actually gouging you on interest, right? There's not a lot of them out there that are trying to take advantage of there, think about this. If you buy a cheap or a poorly built machine, right? Something, for example, let's just say out of China, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that can buy stuff out of China, and you finance it, and it fails in 6 to 18 months, right? Your financing doesn't go away, does it?
It does not. No.
Right? If I finance a machine with you, Connor, and I say I'm going to do a 5-year term, right? In 18 months, if that machine doesn't work, does my 5-year term just evaporate?
It doesn't.
No, I still have to pay it out, right?
Correct. However, the nice part is we at Geneva Capital work with you on it.
Yep.
And, in most cases, and going back to the collateral point, banks, in those cases, banks are going to take, if they have a blanket lien on your personal assets, they're
Yep.
going to take a lot of things from you.
Yep.
Us, on the other hand, the only collateral we ever take on an agreement is the equipment itself.
The machine,
The
right?
machine itself.
Yeah, and so when you look at that, like, okay, you're stuck paying for the machine, right? That doesn't go away. You took out the loan. That wasn't me. You took out the loan for $20,000 on that Chinese machine because it was a good deal when the ShopSabre was $35,000. Okay, well, in 18 months when it's failed, you still have to go buy that $35,000 machine or another $20,000, which I mean, you're a fool, right? You're a fool if you go buy another machine that just failed and screwed you, right? So you're probably buying something else. So it's going to probably cost you more money. So did you really save money? No, now you're paying 2 loans. You're trying to pay something off that is broken because you're not going to be able to sell it. It's like my Cooper Cup on my fantasy football right now. He's really terrible trade bait. I've been trying to sell him all day long, but nobody wants a guy that's hurt. You know, it's the same thing with your CNC machine. It's worth a lot when it works, but as soon as you need to get rid of it because it's broken, nobody wants to pay you for it. They're going to give you pennies on the dollar. So now you lose your butt and you have to go finance. So, you know, if you buy a quality product like a ShopSabre and you finance it, it's going to last you 10 plus years, right? Hey, I'm going to ask a question here. Like, honest answer, guys. How many ShopSabres have failed on you guys while you financed it and the customer had to come back and say the machine doesn't work anymore?
You literally read my mind because, again, we're financing hundreds of machines a year for businesses of all different shapes and sizes all across the country. Obviously, we're also in, manufacturing in general, so we have other equipment that we're financing, CNC mills, turning equipment, tube and pipe cutting, et cetera. So we're really deep in that wood and that metal fab. And the least common call that I get is I'm having issues with my ShopSabre. And so I hate to pretend like there's no risk in what we do, because there certainly is. And some deals go bad if we write a really risky deal for a guy that didn't have good credit. But at the end of the day, if anything, they call and say, this machine has been a dream. It has absolutely revolutionized my business, and I'm looking for a second one.
ShopSabre.com.
So that's a good website you guys can go out to. Check out ShopSabre. But I mean, I appreciate that, David. Like, we brought you guys on the show because we do a lot of financing with you guys. Let's be honest. Like, I expect that we do a lot of financing with you because we trust your guys' financing and your judgment. But hearing that, I didn't even know that. To be honest with you, I didn't realize that, like, the least call that you get is us. That's awesome. But, that's what I expect. That's who we are as a company. That's why we have lifetime support, is that we don't want you taking those calls. They should call us, get it, whatever issue they're having taken care of, and we keep going. But with a lot of import products, you don't have that. When product fails, people are pissed off. They get mad at everybody. And you're the one that's losing. Your business gets affected by that financing. So, the machine pays for itself when you buy something that's quality, right? A ShopSabre, for example, it paid for itself, right? Any interest you paid and the continued work for, years beyond the interest pays for itself. The machine is like buying an employee, and then they're just going to work for you for as long as you want them to, and you don't have to keep paying them. So assume it's like a contract, right? I just signed my new employee for a 5-year contract. He's going to be awesome. He's an all-star. He's got all the skills I need. But in 5 years, he's just going to keep working for free. Like, that's what you have with a CNC machine. Versus, you can go buy Joe, right? You can go pay Joe yearly. Joe's $50,000 a year. That's being generous right now. He's probably 70. But he's more expensive than the CNC machine yearly. And Joe's going to call in sick, right?
Correct.
I mean, CNC machines don't call in sick.
They're going to
He's
be
going to be
working.
hungover.
Joe's hungover. Yep.
Joe's going to be making a couple mistakes, even if he does show up hungover.
Yeah.
And this machine doesn't. And that is truly the best way to, one of the best ways to look at a purchase is break it down. David says it best, take the magnifying glass off your eye and step back, 30,000 steps and see what it truly costs. And like you said, Joe is, you got to pay him $20 an hour, if not more.
Yep.
And, say you have a $60,000 ShopSabre machine that runs every day and do it on a 5-year term, that breaks down to roughly $7.70 an hour.
You tell me who you can hire out there with any set of skills for $7.70 an hour.
Travis.
Travis.
Travis, yeah.
You can hire Travis.
Well, and Joe also gets probably 2 weeks of vacation every year, too.
No.
We all know we're going to take advantage of that.
We're not doing vacations around here. I don't like that word. No, but yeah, I mean, that's the truth though, right? I mean, yeah, you're not getting very good, skills at $7.70 an hour. You're usually an entry-level employee, if that. I think in today's world, a lot of places don't even hire. I mean, it's $15 an hour is minimum for most people,
I was
right?
about to say that's below minimum wage nowadays.
Right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, I keep thinking, I'm dating myself. Like, $7.70 is like what I made in high school. I was like,
$7.25.
I was making bank at that, as a high schooler. But, you think about that now, and it's like, that doesn't exist. Like, you can't even hire somebody for that price. So why aren't you buying a ShopSabre? Why are you being so foolish? Like, go get qualified, pay for it, And then you look at it and it's like, good equipment really just pays for itself is how I've looked at it always, If you don't like the interest rate, the other thing you can do is put some money down, right? You can buy your own rates down. I mean, technically you're buying your own rate down by just financing less money, right? I mean,
100%. And that's one of my favorite things about working with your customers is, I mean, everybody looks at money just a little bit differently. And, first call of the day, we've got a guy that wants to put nothing down, do it over the longest term.
Yep.
Nothing out of pocket, 5 years. How low can I keep this payment? Well, I keep all my cash in my pocket. And the next guy probably has a little bit more time in business, and he says, look, let's throw 30% down at this machine, and what does an 18-month payment look like? And he compares that payment to his workflow, his cash flow, his cost of his employees, and says, I can make a monthly return out of the gate. And, by having it on a real short term, my interest cost is going to be razor thin. And so, there's this theory of return on capital, right? If we put $50,000 in your business today, and the only thing that you could use it for was to grow your business, in 5 years from now, how much would you turn that $50,000 into? And everybody's answer is a little different, but if I ask that question to 5 guys, usually the answer I get is about $75,000. And so if you look at that, that's making $5,000 a year on that $50,000. That returns 10%. And so, yeah, market rates are a little higher, 7-8% nowadays compared to 5 or 6. But if your return on that capital is 10% and the interest rate is 7%, good, solid, smart businesses are always going to leverage someone else's money so long as the rate is less than what their return on that dollar would be if held within their business.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said, ditto. I'm just gonna say that. No, I mean that's really well put. I mean, when you think about that, as you ask me what I'm gonna do with $50,000, I'm gonna have a sweet race car and I'm gonna be broke in 5 years. But it's gonna be awesome. But the reality is what you said is that most business owners look at it as how much. If you have more cash in your pocket, you're gonna make more cash, right? Most business owners are smart enough to turn cash into cash. So if you're spending all your cash on the CNC machine, what do you have to turn into cash, right? Like, use the CNC machine to help you take that cash and, make more cash, right? You have to look at it that way. And, if anything, I've always told customers, ask if you have prepayment penalties. That's something to always look at, right? You don't want to have a penalty for paying off things for, early, but take $200 a month and just stick it in a bank account, right? Set it aside, $200 every month. And it'll start to add up, right? It'll start adding up, and you can pay it off early. Or, you take it and throw it at that payment. Keep throwing $200. And eventually you're going to pay yourself down, over time. It's not a lot of money out of your pocket. Honestly, as a business, throwing $200 extra at your payment, right away might be a lot, right? If you're a business that's scraping to get by. But down the road, as that machine's creating that stuff, it's probably not breaking the bank.
You're going to forget you're even putting $200 at it at that
exactly.
point in time.
And you pay it off early. You pay everything off early. I mean, it's something that I tell everybody, like with your houses, right? When you do a home mortgage, take a 30-year home mortgage and you put extra money at it every month, and you're not going to go 30 years. It's just that thing where you round up to the next dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many little things you can do in financing. And, as a business, you have a lot more buying power. You have more as a business than you do as a person. If you're still thinking about business purchases like you're buying things for your house, you're thinking about it wrong. Businesses have tax incentives, right? Businesses have reasons to do things. Like, maybe as a person you don't have as many, but Section 179 is pretty real, isn't it, guys?
Especially right now.
Yeah, so let's talk about financing. Let's talk about dollar for dollar. What did financing look like 10 years ago? Well, we talked about that. It was more, right? I mean, it was more 10 years ago than it is today. We're still sitting better today than we were 10 years ago, right? And, there weren't some of the plans that are available now. You didn't have the deferred options. You didn't have the no money down options that we have today. So you have things to offset payments today, for one. Think about the no payment options, the delayed payment options, right? We have some options there. Do we not, Connor?
We do.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's the main word that comes to mind when you're talking about this is flexibility. And Geneva has that. And the nice part is we like that the customers know that. So we're flexible, whether that's no money down and then following that, no money down with no payments for 90 days. That gives you plenty of time to A, get the machine built and sent to you. And then, B, you're not, forking out, $1,500 a month or whatever it may be in payments without, this machine generating money. That kind of offsets that, where you get the machine in and like Brandon said earlier, it's paying for itself at that point in time. So ultimately the flexibility is there, and like David said too, each scenario is a little different. So we like that we have that flexibility and we want to help you with that flexibility. So
yeah. So, I mean, therefore, financing, or buying a machine with cash, a lot of times it's hurting your business, right? I mean, cash is king, they say, right?
Correct. Yep.
So not having cash, you're not much of a king without it, right?
Especially in times of inflation. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Have cash. That's what you want. So therefore using it on the equipment, it maybe isn't the best move. Finance it. Now's the time to do it. And, therefore, finance the equipment, to pay for more equipment, right? I mean, your equipment generates revenue so you can buy more equipment down the road. Like, you see people that, they're going to hire somebody, an employee, or they're going to outsource. You're paying somebody still. It's no different than financing that machine. So does that not come still with a monthly payment, right? I mean, that employee is weekly or biweekly, which adds up to a monthly expense, or that outsourcer is every job you're doing, they're charging you. So it's still going to be a monthly expense.
Yeah. And if you outsource, you don't have control over it.
Nope.
Nope.
Guess what you're doing? You're paying for their machine.
You're paying for their machine.
You're paying their payment.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job. Hey, if you guys don't want to have your own payment, call me. You can pay for my payment. But, your employees, like I said, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is, your supplier requires, you to pay them. Why not finance the machine through a bank? Like make it part of the budget. Chad, what's your thoughts on that?
Give Geneva a shot. They're easy to work with.
Yeah, Geneva, right? I mean, right on our website, there's a financing tab. You can check it all out. Travis, what do you think about that idea?
Well, so I have a lot of customers that'll still call me and just say, I'm just going to pay cash for this machine. And then I'll just say, well, do you have any other upgrades that you thought you were going to maybe want to do to your shop power, whatever it may be, dust collection, this and that. They're like, well, you know what? It's probably worth looking at the financing then. And again, with how close a relationship we have with them, I personally would trust these guys. So my customers always trust them. And I get such good feedback from all my customers after they talk to, Cole, Connor, David, Rebecca, anybody from your team. Like, they know they're in good hands. So I honestly think finance right now is the best time to do it.
Good thing you didn't forget anybody, or they would have had to come find you and beat you up. I was glad you got everybody there.
Well, they're already picking on me, so I had to make sure I got them all.
But Connor and David, what's your guys' thoughts on that? When we talk about, why not finance the machine through the bank and make it part of the budget, right?
And you guys hit the nail on the head where we just have this great relationship, and we know your customers, and we spend just this intense amount of time working with them to make sure that we get it right. And out of 100 agreements that we write, a bunch of them are 5-year terms with no money down, but the bulk of them are different. And so everybody looks at money a little differently, and we try and, have that conversation to ensure that it's structured in the right way. And coming back to a point you had made a little bit ago, Brandon, about price gouging and being competitive. I mean, we have the stats to show that if 10 people apply, 9 are getting approved, 8 are buying a machine, and 7 are moving forward with the financing that we put in front of them. So here and there, we'll lose a deal to, a local bank if they're just a little cheaper. But at the end of the day, our offer is going to be competitive and attractive to that buyer.
No collateral. There's so many advantages to going with you guys. The other thing that's nice about working with ShopSabre, Chad and Travis jump in there, but is what? We give the discount regardless if you're financing or not, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
It's because I'm going to give you a discount no matter what. Like, you're getting that discount. That's exactly why. But, like I said, we don't care if you finance. I don't care where the money comes from. We want you to buy a ShopSabre, right? I mean, is that not what we want? So in order for us to get you into a machine, we know that our best price needs to be put forward. You can still finance it. You can still finance it. You're not having to worry about, you can't finance it because I gave you my best price. No, you can still finance it.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
There's not a lot of companies that are willing to do that, So, people literally will cripple their business worrying about the funding, right? I mean, their business is growing, the work needs to be done, but they're slowing themselves down or paying more to do it the hard way because they don't want to spend a few bucks on interest, right? They're going to go make bad business decisions. Wow, I really struggle with that word there. Bad business decision. There we go. Got it. But when you think about it, the interest adds up based on your current interest, right? Versus from 2 years ago. I mean, I understand that you're looking at it as from 2 years, but the reality is your money's not doing what it was 2 years ago either, right? I mean, you got work that needs to be done today. You're not doing work 2 years ago. You have to make your decisions based on today's world everywhere. And, when you're crippling your business, are you not giving up revenue? Worrying about that? David and Connor, what do you guys thought?
You absolutely are. And like you said and alluded to, thinking in the past is going to make for a tough decision.
Yeah.
And likely not a good one, at that. So, what you got to do is focus on today and tomorrow. And, honestly, look at, just turn on the news, listen to the Fed talk about what their plans are and what that might be in 3 months from now, a month from now, things like that. rates are likely still going to go up a little bit in the near future from what they say. So why not lock in financing today? It's not a variable rate; it's a fixed rate.
So you're locking in.
You're locking in a lower interest.
You're going to be wishing in 2 years potentially, right? That dang, I should have just done it, right? I needed it. Now I'm going to spend 0.5% more or whatever it's going to be. You know, like just do it now. So in 2 years it's paid off. You paid the machine off in 2 years. Like there's guys that pay these machines off in 6 months. I've seen it a lot. Like literally 6 months, I've seen guys generate enough revenue with their machine that they're like, I should have done this a long time ago.
It's like I have one job coming up that'll pay for this machine.
Yep. Like
I hear that all the time.
Yeah. Like you're stupid not to look at doing it. Like you're literally stepping over dollars because you want to save a few pennies. So, let's chat more about that. The benefits of doing something now. For one, there's not a lot of good deals out there on equipment in terms of things that you're not going to, take advantage of today, right? I mean, there's deals today that are some of the best deals I've seen, right? What do you guys think, Chad and Travis? I mean,
Are we talking about the specials we have going?
yeah. I mean, as far as specials, I mean, there's some of the best deals around, right?
Best deals around for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot of deals right now that you're not going to have in a few years, right? So right now we know that it takes specials to get things done right now. We're putting some skin in the game to try to get things done for you. So for one, that's one reason to move forward right now, especially this time of year, right? End of the year, everybody's trying to get something done before the end of December. There's a lot of incentives for, holidays, things like that, but also tax incentives, right?
Taxes, yep.
So, you won't see the same price in January. We all know that. Like, next month is the lowest price. Now between now and the next month is the lowest price you're going to see of the year. Guarantee it. In January, you will see a lot of products going up because everybody's been doing business in 2022 while prices have been climbing. 2023, we're not, companies aren't going to lose money, right? They're going to adjust their prices accordingly. And generally, a lot of price lists come out in January, February of the next year. So you're going to see prices go up. So buy your equipment at the lowest price you can. There's one advantage, right? The second thing, as a professional of this industry, and someone who's done this most of my adult life, I can tell you that the world's changing and costs have went up, right? I mean, I can tell you that for a fact. It's not what it was 10 years ago when I was doing this. When I worked for the old JB, we were doing things a lot different than we are today. I'll tell you what, things are a lot different in today's world. And costs will be more on all machines in 2023. Not just ShopSabre, I mean, everything. It's just something you're going to see. But businesses still have to move forward in 2023. You can't just, we're going to take 2023 off. We'll wait till it comes back down, then I'll start back. No, your house payment still needs to be made. Like, you might as well keep going. And, businesses who don't adjust their pricing are going to go out of business. You're going to see the same thing that happened the last time this happened. The businesses who try to undercut pricing of everybody won't be around the long haul. There's a reason why ShopSabre's made it through downturns in the economy, over the last 23 years. We always make it because we're smart. We work our way through it. We know that we can't offer prices the way we used to when things were good. It's just the nature of the business. And we understand some people aren't going to buy from us because they think they can still get it. A lot of those people are going to regret not buying from us because they end up with something they don't want. So, when you look at it, you have to start being smart and you have to look at what your needs are for 2023, but get it ordered before December 31st. Get everything done so you're ready for 2023. And you can thank me later for that advice. Order it now and you can thank me later. Just write me a Christmas card. It's okay. But, let's talk financing. David and Connor, what are you seeing happening in the financing world over the next 90 to 120 days?
We're optimistic that the bulk of the rate increases have already happened. Again, if you rewind back to March, I mean, prime rates basically doubled since then, and it will continue to go up probably in these small increments here over the next, call it quarter or two. But again, optimistic that the bulk of the damage has already been done. So, it's funny because you talk about price increase and cost relative to like time and the end of the year. And I feel like every single year, 3-4 years running in the conversation in December, they get that quote and they think, hey, I'm going to hold off because this guy's bluffing. Maybe that this discount's still going to be here next year. And those are tough conversations come January because the fact of the matter is those discounts go away. And we've seen the quotes and we know that these last, call it 45 days of the year is truly the best price that you're going to get. And it's going to be a tough day when you wake up on January 1st or 2nd and you look at the new pricing and you're going to kick yourself because those discounts are gone and they're real. But, a nice 45-day window is a great opportunity to secure that price. Best deal of the year. I feel like lead times are as short as they've ever been. So, you can truly be up and running, cutting, making money within your business here before the snow melts.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that stuff. I think one thing to keep in mind with that is customers call us up. It always happens. First week of January. How'd the price go up over one day? It didn't go up over one day. It went up over 365 of them. It just, now this is the last one. Like, you've had all year at this price. Like, the discounts are here. We're offering it. Like, it's not one day. That was the final cutoff. And I always tell everybody that. It's my costs are going up on that day is why. My deadlines with my suppliers is December 31st. That's why my deadline to you is December 31st. It's not because I'm going to put a date in mind and, who cares? If I could offer the low price all year long, I'd sell a lot more machines, right? I have sales for a reason. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the programs right now. No payment options, right? Deferred payment options. What else do buyers need to think about, Chad?
Where to sign?
Where to sign. I like that. Yeah. I mean, they have shipping discounts, right? We have some shipping discounts. Travis, what do you think about? What else does customers need to think about right now this time of year?
Lead times, like we talked about, right now they're at about the lowest they've been nearly all year. And if you wait till December 31st, you're not going to get the same lead time as you did, December 1st.
ShopSabre.com.
Hey, Connor, you got a famous word that you always like to say, and I love it. What's that? Your famous phrase?
Sign here and here.
There it is. you need to, though. You really need to be thinking about signing here and there. Like, if you aren't doing it now, like, you're just delaying yourself. Like, you're just hurting yourself. Connor and David, take it away when it comes to Section 179. Tell people a little bit about that if you can.
Section 179 is a beautiful thing for businesses. Who here likes taxes?
Not I.
Probably not anybody.
Nope. Nobody here.
So that sums it up perfectly.
I think that sums up taxes, right?
Yeah, perfect. So Section 179 is from the IRS, and LLC, corporation, sole proprietorship, they all file taxes, and these equipment purchases from ShopSabre, anywhere in the industry, these manufacturing purchases are basically get a Section 179 write-off where depending on your tax bracket, how you structure the deal, you save a buttload on taxes.
Yeah.
And it's a nice part to save money at the end of the year when your accountant goes, hey, by the way, you're making too much money. Why don't you go and buy some equipment? And the reason being is you have this write-off. So It's a great thing, and we get 1,000 calls in November and December because those accountants told them that they need to remember Section 179.
Yeah, you have money in your bank account. It's either going to the government or it's going to you. You're better to put it in your own pocket,
yeah,
right?
your choice.
Yeah, your choice. Who do you want to give it to? Because if you want to just get rid of money, I can send you my address. You can just send it to me. Like, I'm good with that. But the reality is that's the truth. Like, you have to start thinking about that, is that this money has to be spent somewhere. And you're better to invest in your own business. A lot of these incentives, people just miss them. And I think that's what a lot of business owners don't realize is there's a lot of these quote unquote loopholes, let's call them, right? Like that you see the famous wealthy people with these, they're not paying taxes. You see it in the world, like all over the news, and so-and-so didn't pay their tax or this didn't happen, right? That's how they're getting out of it. They're using the loopholes that exist that you can use too. They're just using them. And the difference is like, if you're not willing to look at Section 179 and how it can affect your business, you're just leaving money on the table. Like, we're not tax advisors. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. Like, call your CPA. I will say that not one person in this room is gonna give you tax advice, but we're gonna tell you that Section 179 exists and you should at least be asking questions about it.
The nice thing too is it's independent of how you pay for the machine. So whether you lease it, finance it, pay cash for it, run it on a credit card, do it through your bank, Section 179 just allows you to deduct the full cost of equipment purchases in the year that it was put into service. So if you buy a $50,000, ShopSabre CNC machine, for example, in 2022, and if your tax rate is 20%, let's say that's a $10,000 savings back into your pocket. If you don't spend that $50,000, obviously you're out the machine and the production and the profit that comes with it. But that 10 grand that you had sitting in your bank account, you might as well write a check to the IRS.
There it is. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Mic drop.
I wish I could, but don't break my mic. Don't drop that. I only have these 4 mics, so if you drop it, we're gonna be in trouble. Then you'll have to share with Travis, and nobody wants to do that. So, but yeah, no, buying equipment is still a smart decision for your business. Borrowing money is still affordable. I will say that. When you look at the pros versus the cons, obviously you don't want to finance cheap or poorly made equipment. You end up paying a loan on something that doesn't last or that isn't working, and the right equipment will last well beyond any loans right now. The right equipment right now will pay for that interest that you're paying. Simple as that. If you don't trust the equipment you're buying, that's your bigger problem. It's not the interest you're paying. What you're buying isn't the right piece of equipment then. And I'll tell you right now, ShopSabre equipment is second to none. I will put it out there. I don't say bold statements like that too often on the show, but I will say today that I will go head to head with anybody else in this industry, in this class, and our machines don't get beat. We have a very, very good product. We set ourselves up for that success. We're very confident in what we do. We want you to be just as confident. So when you buy a ShopSabre, you're not questioning whether you bought the right equipment. Yeah, you're not buying the cheapest machine out there. You're not buying the most expensive machine out there. You're buying the best value. And that's really what you're looking for in financing too. And regardless of the interest, you win due to free labor, right? The labor is free because the machine's doing it. You're not having to do all that. So as you break it down, you got to remember, end of year is here. Best pricing of the year, best financing of the year, affordable financing is there. We still have good, decent rates, deferred payments, no money down options, Section 179 for many businesses. Have I forgotten anything, guys?
I think that's it.
I nailed it, right?
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it.
Is there anything you guys want to add? Geneva, Team Geneva, anything else? Or do we get through it all?
Give us a shot. We're working with so many businesses, and there's nothing that we like more than helping get good deals done for good people that we like. So the nice thing is there's zero cost, zero obligation. Our credit check's a soft pull. It's not going to ding your FICO. It's not going to show as an inquiry. Any approval we offer is good for 90 days. So all we're asking for is an opportunity to qualify you, approve you, put some numbers in writing, and that'll give you the full context that you need to make a well-educated buying decision.
Party on. I like it. Oh, that's truth though. Like I said, there's a lot of good things we have going for us right now. Speaking of which, it's that time of year. I know you guys are probably all itching to get back to your phones and your emails because I'm sure they're blowing up right now with people trying to get things done. So with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
Team Geneva here.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.